Hi, Nora, and the other 2.5 people that are watching this. I would like to introduce everyone to Dust Wardens. This is session 1 of 4. We will talk about what Dust Wardens is in a second, but first I would like to introduce you to my favorite people in the world and also our resident Dust Wardens. To begin, my name's Sid, they, them pronouns, and I am super interested in this game because it's about community and I like games that are about creating and testing bonds between players. So I'm really excited to see how that comes out. Y'all can do some introductions now. Elle, what you got?
Hello, my name is Ellen, she, her. I'm from Australia and um, I signed up to this game in a heartbeat, number one, because our dear, dear host Sydney hosted the games. But then this game is also like super fun and interesting and it's going to hit us all in the squishy feels.
Yeah. Haley, you're next. Who are you?
Hi, my name's Haley and my pronouns are she, them. And I signed up for this game because Sid posted or reshared a picture of Jamila Jamil on a motorcycle in a desert. That is what I'm excited about. That, but in a game.
Yeah, some real feels on that one. Lou, who are you? What's your deal?
Hello, I'm Lou. I use he, him pronouns. That I also really like the motorbike person in the desert, and I like the kind of reading a bit of the flavor of the game. I don't even know if that's where we're going, and I don't care if it is, but I like the whole crazy overgrown like nature coming back after a big like thingy thing. I like I've got a big Pinterest board of that thing of like nature overtaking places that used to be full of people. I really like it. There's like Soviet holiday places and stuff like that that have just like have got the forest growing back through them again, and I really like that sort of thing. And also I was really excited to play with all of you people as well.
Yes, I love I actually have in my GMing mood board, I have a lot of overgrown stuff as well. Tyler, what's your deal?
I'm Tyler, he, him pronouns. And first off, I was super excited to get to play with Sid. Anytime I get a chance, and it seems like it's a time that I'm able to jump on, I hop right on it. And then Motorcycle Witches sounded phenomenal, and I really liked the kind of the band close-knit unit concept of it. That really appealed to me.
Dope. I love it. It seems like we're all hitting really similar themes. So let's talk about what those themes are. So to begin with, sorry, I got a lot of coughs going on today. Dust Wardens is a game that's in development by Nora Blake at Neither Nora or Neither Nora, depending on how you want to pronounce that on Twitter. And our metadata sort of keywords for this about like connections and the interactions between people, and also that otherness and how that gives us power, how that is both our sword and our shield, I guess. So our conceit. You will play characters who are Dust Wardens. You are ousted from existing connections. So for whatever reason, you have been rejected from whatever homes sort of exist in this world. And so you have bonded together. That bond has given you strength, and has given you strength in the form of magic bullshit, which, yes, absolutely, self-indulgent magic bullshit is going to be hardcore key theme in this. There's a term that Nora uses in the text called limerence, and limerence is the bond of two souls who share obligations for each other. And that's really interesting. And I think your connections are kind of going to be our theme for the big thing. So like when we talk about whatever evils there are in the world. We'll probably talk about how that is an extension of your connections, or maybe the illogical conclusion of your vows to each other, or something like that. In terms of the world, it's a post-apocalyptic world, so we can go for desert, we can go for overgrown. We'll have to kind of pick a theming as we go. I played in a desert one. It was good fun, but I'm also super down for overgrown. Does anyone have want to put their hand to something and be like, this is the imagery I want?
Coming into it, I was thinking of overgrown, and also not to the same extent, but I really love that Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind. Have you watched that? The Miyazaki thing. It's a kind of thing when nature's it's a really early Miyazaki film where nature is coming back, and it's like the world kind of trying to heal itself. I guess is to put it in a nutshell. Yeah.
Elle, did you have input on that?
Exactly all of those things. Thank you.
Haley, you mentioned in your intro about bike in the desert. Now, was it the bike that was important? Oh, sorry, was it the desert that was important? The bike that was important?
Look, I mean, it's the person on the bike who's important, but I'm very happy with overgrown. That sounds fantastic.
It can still be a desert. Deserts can have lots of stuff growing in there.
I actually really like the idea of that sort of New Mexico-y, bluffy desert that has been seeded with life, and but anyway, we can talk about that. That's cool. So aims. I didn't write anything down for aims. Let's think about it. Aims. Yeah, aims as characters are to it's kind of like most post-apocalypse things where it's about survival and about finding your next thing. There's actually no mechanics for pushing you in directions. So what your aims are going to tend towards as players is maintaining your relationships as a group, and what that means. As a player, your aims are to very standard sort of PBTA agenda, I would say, which is don't steal the spotlight, but shine when you have it. Be a fan of each other and yourself. Indulge in cool, self-indulgent bullshit, as we do. Tone. Dangerous but beautiful is what I've written down. And I think that's what we want to kind of go into, is finding both the beauty and the danger, and the danger and the beauty. Love is power is a big part of our tone. Your characters will be pretty competent and hardcore, grand heroics, drama, and raucous comedy, Nora suggests. For safety stuff or subject mattery stuff, I think we're probably looking at the PG Gusting M sort of level thing, depending on how intense the smooches get. It is also from a subject matter perspective. It's about things like polyamory and queer families, and the trans experience of not belonging in a community, and so having to create that community elsewhere. I guess more broadly the queer experience of that. Which may hit some tones for some of the people playing here, in which case we have a card. It has a letter on it, but I can't remember what that letter might be. Oh, thanks, Ellen. It's an X card. So we have the X card, as you all know. We also have script change, which is becoming more and more part of my vocabulary. And if there was ever a group that I figured would know how to handle safety stuff, it's definitely this group, because we talk about it a lot. So yeah, that will be the thing. Does anyone have anything to add to the sort of cats part of this? I feel like I've been talking for a lot. Okay, standard question. Does that sound like a game everybody would like to play?
Yes.
Excellent. So let's talk about Dust Wall. Let's make some fucking motorcycle witches, hey? So you all have the link to the Google Sheet, or the spreadsheet. Is that true? Awesome. Cool. So on it, I would like you all to pick a color and to place your name in that sort of first white row in the color. And if you've, I mean, Elle's kind of got an idea of her character, so maybe we can talk about that. I don't know how much of this I want to post-gen just because I don't know the system well. I'm not comfortable with the system. And the system being a playtest system is also not comfortable with itself. So I'm not sure if I want to jump in and post-gen and jump back. Is everyone okay if we actually go through a bit of a more structured character creation process? Cool. You're all super quiet, and I feel super uncomfortable. I was playing a duet earlier today where we all just like talk to each other constantly, and it's like bounce, bounce, bounce. Yeah.
We want you to do all the talking.
Not fair.
We're just being respectful and ready to play.
Beautiful.
Like ready to do stuff.
That's
what I'm doing anyway. I'm excited, quiet, but excited.
Okay, so let's hide this chump on the end here. Cool. So here's what we're going to do. Whenever you're ready, you can fill in your. There's no playbooks for this, by the way. Sorry, we're all going through the same process. There's no playbooks. One of Nora's questions is that an issue, or is that something that we want? So we can have a look at that later. But for now, what I would like you to do is, does anyone have, oh, do I want to ask that? Yeah. Does anyone have a sort of solid idea of their kind of overgrown post-apocalyptic motorcycle witch? Ellen, you were speaking before, and Lou's got a finger up. So, Elle, let's hear from you because I'm super interested in She-Ra.
Did you say She-Ra?
Mm-hmm. That's a lion, right?
Yeah, no. I had actually written down Shizy.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't realize She-Ra was lion.
What? No, she's not a lion. She hangs out with lionos.
She is a lioness of a woman, but my character is the lioness of a woman as well. Her name is Shizai. Shizai, I think I'll go with that. And I was feeling like she's probably human, but identifies as being a lioness, and I'd like to think that she would use her magic to try and be more of who she feels like she is.
Oh man, I have so many questions. Does the lionessness predate the magic for her? Her interaction?
Yeah, I would think so. I think so. Because I guess she probably as she was growing up probably felt more like a kitty or a cub. And
I love it.
I don't know when she came into power yet. Maybe it's like that coming of age thing where you like hit your teens and then like I don't know.
Well, that's really interesting. So power in this sort of setting comes from your connection to others, which implies that, like, if it is like you hit a certain age thing, it kind of says something about the difference between adult and childish relationships, right? I'm really interested.
Yeah.
Really interested.
I've been just like on that note, it's been really interesting for me lately with Rose, like as she's getting older, like when she's expressing like her love for me and stuff like that, it's actually heaps more lovely now than when she was little and she's like, I love you. And you're like, that's cute. Good on you. And now that she's like, now that she is starting to get an understanding of the world and how other families work, it's more nuanced or real or something. Yeah, interesting.
That's really cool. I love that. All right, so beautiful. And Ellen, the reason these top bits are so big is if you want to go to Pinterest and find a photo that works for you, you're welcome to add that in as well.
Yeah, I just did that, but did it in the bottom bit. So now I'll take that and put it in the top bit.
Dope. And then if you want, you've got a look vibe section there. There's nothing that you need to put in there. It's just an option. If you want to put in stuff about, you know, how she looks or how she rocks, you're more than welcome to write all that down. I should bring over like a copy of a character from our previous game to like show you. I'll do that as we talk. Lou, you had your hand up before. Do you want to step in and let us know?
Unless anybody else is ready to speak. Oh, okay. Sweet. I think I'm going to be called Goggles. And I was thinking of going for the kind of like gearhead-ish sort of character, but I like the idea of playing with like seeing, as we've said, that magic is from your connection with others, of exploring that journey of the character kind of becoming closer to others in the course of the game. Do you know what I mean? And perhaps that thing of being more interested in messing with machines and doing those sort of practical things has left them at a point where they don't have as strong a connection with others as they might want to. That's really all I've got so far.
That's really
stereotypical grease monkey gearhead person.
So are you thinking that like that do you see your, okay, so when we talk about relationships, is your relationship to your equipment and to technology important to you? Or is that?
Yeah, I think so. But I think it's also, you know, the whole like language, like love languages thing, that I think her way of expressing herself is by fixing things for people and
perfect.
Giving them, you know, things that work and are practical. Like that's, you know, but I guess that's not the only way that you can relate to people, and maybe that's something to explore.
Yeah, I love it.
But yeah, I think she's super connected to machines and understands how they work, and yeah.
Awesome. I'm all about it. Goggles. I love it. So as I said, you're welcome to find yourself a picture. You can fill out your look vibe with whatever you want, and we'll get to it. Do I tell someone to go next, or do I offer the floor to each of you? I mean,
I can say something.
I was going to say, I know if I offer it, Haley will let Tyler go, but
I'm a little torn. I have one I'm imagining is an older female, but very, very butch, a very masculine female, that views themselves very much as the protector sort, the person who feels that responsibility to look out for everyone, the one who's been capable of fighting and being that aggressive person, but now is in that kind of, not to steal a phrase from Ellen, but a lion in winter, that sort of the age getting to where, you know, that torch is going to have to pass sometime. That's one thought I have. Another one is a much younger version of something similar, but rather than on the other side of age, this woman coming up into strength and being that protector. And I can't quite decide which I like best, but I always like the old aging out. That always makes me happy.
I was actually thinking of also playing an older character, but that absolutely does not mean that you shouldn't. In fact, it might make it even more interesting if you do. I'm looking at a picture of Meryl Streep from The Devil Wears Prada, so I think we might be quite different older characters. I can't find one of her on a motorcycle, but I'm hoping if I keep searching.
That would be excellent. Cool.
Okay, cool. So what I'm really interested in with that, Tyler, is actually, do you want to make a D, Tyler? Which one you're looking at there? The elder or the younger?
I think I'm going to choose the older. I like that storyline, that kind of aging out of being the protector and having to look to other people.
Yeah, I'm super interested in what that looks like when your relationships are so framed by that obligation to others as their protector, and the fact that like if that is how you define your relationships with others once you are no longer protecting them, what are you to them? That is very interesting to me. And Haley, tell me about Meryl Streep. I was trying to do a Devil Wears thing and I couldn't get there. Better luck next time.
Yeah, I haven't got too much fleshed out yet, but I'm definitely thinking of an older woman who is quite I think judgmental and like one of those people who they either respect you or they don't. If they respect you, then they will like listen to you and look out for you, and if they don't respect you, they just don't give a shit about you.
I love it. I love it, and that's a really interesting way to be to challenge that as well. Yeah, cool. The other thing I'm really interested about for each of your characters to think on for us to kind of come to and play is why you are outside of societies, like what it is about you that keeps you elsewhere, and I guess why these people don't do that. Oh, Tyler, yes. I can't wait to once we've got a bit more in there, screen share and show everyone these pictures. It's going to be the best. Cool. All right. So while we're talking about this, I want to talk about stats and attributes. Stattributes, I call them. We have 6 stattributes in this game because it would not be a role-playing game without 6 attributes. And we have the scores in them are 1, 2, and 3. You get 3 1s, 2 2s, and a 3. They're there. Little bit. They're there. And you, if you'd like to know what they are, they're in the doc, but I can let everybody know over here. Grit is your resilience, your ability to withstand and process stress and trauma, that sort of mental resilience. The guts is your physical ability to alter your environment. Guile is that kind of your cleverness, your cunning. Gear is your interaction with and relationship with your equipment. So that sounds like a good one for you there, Lou. Glamour is your interaction with the magic, with the limerence. And groove is your kind of charisma stat, you know, your ability to read other people's moods and intent. I too love goggles. Oh my goodness, this is the best. This game is so good. Haley, that picture sums up absolutely everything I need to know about your character. I love the way Lou has goggles, and then in the look, it just says big goggles. It's like so good.
Sorry, I was furiously looking for a picture with goggles that I could use. What are the we get a 3 and a 2 and a 2 and a 1 and a 1 and a 1?
Spot on.
Sweet.
You get 1 3 2 2 3 1s 1 1 3 3 3 1 1 3 3 1 1 2 3. You can put them 3 2 1 1 1 1, or you can put them in 1 2 3 1 1. 2. I don't know what's so hard about this. Yes. I'm so very excited about all of these characters, but it's gonna be so good. Let's see what's going on over here for this here crew. We'll hide Ryan again. Goodbye, Ryan. Oh, look at these. Look at these cool peeps. Quick to smile. I love it. Okay, cool. So it looks like everyone's got some stats. Looks like everyone's got some stuff down. That's awesome. Let's talk about some vows. Now, I mentioned before that relationships are important because they are defined in part, at least, by obligation. You have a couple of obligations to each other that the game is going to hold you to as is. You will be challenged when you lie to each other, when you hide something from a member of your coven, or when you hurt them, whether intentionally or not. However, you will also have some vows. Now, vows are promises that you make to them, to individual members. They can be anything, but they must be meaningful to you. They form the basis of your bond, after all. They should be actionable. A vow that begins with "I promise to" is much better than a vow that begins with "I promise that." So actionable and toward are usually better because it means that you can take action towards it rather than like "I promise," because we also want to find out when you have fulfilled this. So the vow of "I promise not to steal from you" is not as good because we can't. Smart goals. Thank you, Haley. My favorite. Yes, smart goals. We want things that are measurable, simple, measurable, actionable, relevant, and timed. Yeah, I got there. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have each of the characters swear a vow to each other. Now, more than happy for you to talk over. And also, this is a really good flag for a scene that you would like to see with someone, sort of thing. So if we look at Ryan's ones here at the end, we've got ones that are like, "I promise to come back to you. I promise to defer to you. I promise to work as part of your pack. I promise to keep your secrets." We've also seen ones that are like, "I promise to watch over you when others cannot. I promise to assist your ritual beneath the full moon. I promise to make you laugh. I promise to heal your broken relationship with the coven." That sort of stuff. So that's what we're going to go for. We're gonna basically go as a team, and so let's go left to right, and which is great because Haley was last on that, so Haley gets to be first at this. And Haley, I'd like you to pick someone and swear a vow to them. If you'd like to have a chat beforehand and find out, what your what flags you want to set in for each other, you're more than welcome to. And don't forget that, they will also be swearing one back to you. So it's okay if it's hyper specific and from your side because they will get the chance to come back.
Can I put out there a promise that I'm interested in and see whether you think any of your characters would feel like it would jam with them? Because I'm kind of interested in. I promise to help you get revenge. Anyone vengeful? No, I can think of another one.
I feel like my character could be vengeful. Tyler, were you about to say something?
I was going to say I can pick up on that one. I kind of was thinking a little more upbeat for the character, but you know, underlying vengeance, it's always fun to play with. But if you have something, then go with you, Alan.
I can also think of another thing as well.
Yeah, no, bring on the vengeance.
One of the interesting conflicts that this game sort of doesn't support, but is interesting to me, is you can swear a vow to someone like kind of without their consent, right? Like you can kind of be like, oh, someone hurt you, I will get vengeance. It's like, no, it's okay. No, I will get revenge for you. Like, shit, Meryl Streep, do you want to just slow your roll?
I'm going to change it then. I'll change it to, I like your suggestion, Sid, so I will change it to, I promise to take revenge for you. Does that make sense?
That's really good. It's legit. Patty Smith.
Shit's gone off the rails already.
Blade in the dark. Well, Ellen, you're next on the list, so why don't you swear a vow to someone without their consent?
Without their consent. I promise to teach you how to fight Goggles. Whether or not you want to fight, you're going to be taught.
Interesting. Tyler, you're next on our list.
I'm thinking of I'm wondering if this is too vague. I promise to repay what you've done for me, and I was thinking of doing that for Patty.
That sounds great.
Excellent.
Yeah, it sounds perfect. Perfect levels of vagueness. And Goggles.
I'm gonna go with for true. I promise to always do what you say.
That's super interesting. Awesome. All right, we'll step down the line and we'll go around again. So Ellen, pick another person. Sorry, Shizzy. Pick another person. Go for gold. Swear a vow.
Ooh. Ooh. Skip me, please. Next person.
Okay. All right, let's go for Tyler. True.
I promise. Let's see. I promise I would kill for you. Is that too off? I mean, that's so off, so far into maybe actionability. I don't know.
That is so actionable.
Okay. If that sounds good, I think that for Goggles.
Interesting. Okay, cool. I was going to mention, but I never wrote it down anyway, so I totally forgot. I'm not sure what it is in terms of scope, whether we should be trying to achieve one of these per session or achieve them. Like, I think I honestly think if you kind of achieve one of these throughout the maybe every 2 sessions, it'll probably be pretty good on. So, don't feel terrible if it might take you 3 sessions to get to one. But that is also a good point, Lou. Sorry, Goggles, you're next.
Oh, I had one. Who am I going to aim it at? I'm going to aim it. How do you pronounce your character? Is it, it's Shizy? Shizy?
Shizy?
Shizy. I'll do one with Shizy. I promise to maybe I'm gonna say I don't want to say try in my promise. I promise I will change my ways.
Interesting. You'll change your ways. Oh, I really like that. Patty Smith.
I've got one for true, and it is, I promise we will dance again at the old place.
Haley, you are the best at games.
It's Apocalypse classic, isn't it?
The best.
Oh, I just realised I haven't been muted this whole time. Sorry, friends. I might as well throw in my
Please.
vow for Patty. I promise to fight alongside you every time.
Every time?
Every time.
God, that's good.
That's going to get you into trouble.
Yep.
No.
Absolutely. True, what you got?
My last one, which is for Shizai. I promise to frighten away the nightmares.
Ooh. Deep. Interesting. Do I even have nightmares, or are you just going to protect me from these things? Can I throw one back at you while I promise to share my kill with you?
So liony. Goggles, what you got?
I've got left just I've got Patty left. I might make it something about anyone got any suggestions? What do you picture? Do you have any idea about what Patty is trying to achieve in the world we know nothing about yet?
Look, not a huge idea, other than the general principles of staying alive and maintaining her dignity, and importantly, maintaining her ability to condescend whenever appropriate.
Maybe I promise to maybe protect your dignity, like that.
can't see what you've written until you click off that cell. So I'm like waiting for it. I'm like, who's protected dignity? Dignity. That's such a good line. Really interested. Okay. So I guess has everyone got one left to do, or no?
Just me, and I'm having a think and have not come up with anything awesome.
Yeah, right.
I am torn between something along the lines of I promise to forgive you when this thing happens, or I promise to accept you when this thing happens. And I don't know which way I want to go. Lou, do you have feels?
Forgive seems like it's probably more in line with your character, like so far, than accept. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's why it's a long-term promise, I guess.
Maybe that's how you accept people, by forgiving them their flaws.
Well, I imagine that if I'm forgiving you, that probably implies more of a backstory about something that's happened to us. Whereas if I'm accepting you, that implies probably just more of my personality.
Yeah, cool.
That's kind of why I wanted to run it by you.
I've probably done stupid things so whatever.
Ooh, I like that. That's strong. I like that.
Cool.
Okay, I will think of some funny condition. Carry on.
Awesome. The last thing I want to look at is gear and notes. I want to talk about things you have with you. The only restraints so the thing is, we're not talking about everything that you have with you here. You can absolutely find and gather stuff. What we want to talk about is the stuff that's important to you. So your gear stat is a number. So wow, this is going to be interesting. So for Lou, you've got a 3 on goggles. Everyone else is carrying a 1, which means Lou, let me speak to you privately. Look, everyone take that. Lou, you can pick yourself 3 pieces of gear that you have an important relationship with. You can describe those pieces of gear, so you can name them, and then you can describe them, give them adjectives, up to 3 words. So I think Ryan only had a gear stat of 1, so he has a revolver, and the adjective he used for it was true. So you are welcome to create 3 pieces of gear and use 3 words to design. Everyone else, 1 and only 1, and describe it in a single word for us. And I think going along with this theme of relationships, I want this to be something that is important to you for some reason, or has been important to you, or you expect will be important to you. Oh my God, Haley, you're so good at magic games. You're so good at self-indulgent magic games. Now I got to write down things about blood flowers. If you feel a bit lost about like describing a piece of gear that you have a relationship with, a bike is always a good option.
Is there a certain level of expectation of things? Is our gear something particular and special that we use and we can figure we like have a coffee pot for when we eat? I mean, is it that sort of thing? Or are we scarce with what we have available to us?
I think that there's a move for producing gear. So that move would fill anything that requires some level of tension. But I don't think I would be talking about you not having. I think.
Are we all going to have? Yeah. Are we all going to have bikes? But a bike that's your gear is special and has that higher quality or something significant about it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool.
I think so. I too am moving into extreme dark, lit only by my computer monitors. I will be back. Okay, I'm back. I have a super duper. Life is good.
Oh, okay. Don't worry. I found where we put our gear.
There's a little section in the thing called equipment that like talks about like, what does it say? When determining what counts as equipment, consider how integral an item is to the character's image and identity. Like if you would use the words gunslinger or sharpshooter to describe your character, chances are a gun would be one of those things. So like think of your, like, if there were playbooks and you were a class or something, what would be the one like thing that you would, big thing that you have?
Spot on. How's it been going for gear? You've all got like 1 scores of 1. It can't take that long to write 1. If you're all 3s. Oh my god. Okay. I'm so about this. You get 1 word, Haley. 1 word. You and your distaste for rules is ruining my game already.
I was following the example over here. This one has. Okay, so is it 3
Oh my
by
God.
3? If you have a score of 3, you get 3 items and 3 words to describe.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, I understand now.
If you have a score of 1, you can.
It's blood hyphen red. 1 word.
Yeah, of course, of course it is. I almost want to give
hyphen
it
and then
baby for
baby.
free, but I have to. I would absolutely let you write whatever you want, but I've got to be true to those rules so that I can playtest this goddamn game.
So I can already tell you'll forgive me when I get the blood flower that's totally for making more lipstick with, right?
Oh God, yes.
I'm gonna die trying to get like lipstick.
Look, you gotta have priorities in this world.
All right, I love each and every one of these characters. Now, we've been going for almost an hour, which means that we're going to come up to our first break. After the first break, we're going to do one of my favorite things in the world. We're going to do credits. It's going to be so great. I can't wait to see it. So what I want you to think of in the... we'll go for like 5 minutes for the break. Top of the hour for the break. What I want you to think of is... a vignette, a scene or two, a quick snippet of your character that expresses them outwardly to the world so that we may learn about them. And I will quickly spend 5 minutes trying to come up with a first scene and see what we can do. I think it will be very exciting. I look forward to it. I hope you all look forward to it. I'm very excited about these characters, and I'm very excited to see these bonds tested and pushed. If anyone has any questions at this point. All right, cool. I'll see you all in 6 minutes at the top of the hour.
It's just enough time for them and that game. Come on, game.
I'm excited. Y'all excited? Okay. Let's do this. So I want to begin with credits. I want to begin with some cool scenes of your characters being your characters. And then I want to put you into conflict immediately. So let's talk about this. Who should we start with? Would anyone like to start? I guess I should do like a thematic thing, right? So like, what would it be? It's probably like, well, I'm just going to steal one from our last Dust Wardens game. Dio's Holy Diver plays. Is it like we pan over the what used to be the long forgotten desert of the American Midwest or whatever it is, Southwest, West. Yep, Tyler's giving me notes. That's all I need. And we see like the bluffs and canyons with these small squat trees overgrowing them. Coiled around the trees are snakes wandering through the yeah, exactly. I think the Midwest is a mythical place for me. Wandering through the shade are giant bears and stalking cougars, I guess. And the camera cuts between you all, showing you in your element, displaying your name for our audience to see. Who wants to kick us off here?
I think it should be one of the older. Go, Tyler.
I'm happy to start, but I was wanting to ask something a bit about setting before I head into it. As Dust Wardens, we're kind of protectors of these settlements. Is that right? Or are we an insular group that is just taking care of ourselves? Because it talks something about a job that's the Dust Warden, but I don't know what that means.
Let me find the thing. So, if it is a job to protect people, it is one that you have given yourselves. It is not like you are not an authority. You are not bound to anyone by any sort of like by any position. But for whatever reason, I guess that is something that may come through, whether you do provide aid to other people who find themselves lost and struggling in this environment.
Okay. So I think we see one of these dusty towns. It's pretty ramshackle. You know, the wood, the sand has probably stripped the wood from the walls. We could see the poking up of plants, like through the little boardwalk and through the cracks in the street. And it's you know, it's the sun beating down on it. It looks hot and dirty. And riding into town on Bessie, my enormous trike motorcycle, I come in and we see some people kind of on the street, and they give that Sid, and they give that sort of look of oh shit as they kind of get off the street, and True pulls up to a place where there's music inside, and you can hear people making noise as she gets off and just sort of shoves open the door. As she walks in, it gets a little quiet, and we see people that, you know, have that look of rough, getting by sort of folks. As True goes, I know she's in here. I can take her off your hands nice and easy, or I could stomp through your asses till I grab her and take her out that way. So, is this easy, or do your asses need to line up? We see a couple of them step up, obviously not willing to take this, and move over towards her as she says, ugh, that's a shame. and whips out real quick with her booted foot to catch one in a kneecap, and he stumbles over to the side as she just stomps through. And there's the rough and tumble of people starting to swing. Shoves through, pushes to the back, and we see this fairly cute, fairly young, probably in that, 17, 18-year-old range girl. And she's huddled up with this kind of skeezy looking guy in his early 20s. And she's like, no, I don't want to go back to mama. She says, you're going back. As the guy kind of stands up, Prue looks over at him. Is this really the hill you're going to die on, son? And he sort of steps back, and the girl's like, what, you're going to? Come on, honey. And she throws her over her shoulder and just heads on back to take this runaway girl back to her family as they roar off on the trike.
With her over the shoulder, that's so perfect. I really like that. I really like it. I'm trying to think of who would give us, whether we want to go for like maximum contrast. Oh man. Yeah, let's go to Goggles next. Let's hear from Goggles next. What do we see?
I think as like Bessie like roars past, all the dust comes up into the camera, and we kind of see all this dust floating around, and then the dust clears, and it's a different scene of we see Goggles, I think, kind of like out in the wilderness, and I think she's riding as well, but there's like all of this like rather than taking off, her bike's like coming to a stop, and there's like smoke and stuff all coming out of it. And like she jumps off, and I think the music has like swelled up now, so we can't really like, you can see her like swearing, but we can't really like hear what she's saying. And she kind of gets these tools. Her bike's I think even more massive. It's kind of like a little truck bike. It's got heaps of like, yeah, it's a 3-word bike. She starts pulling tools out, and she's looking behind. I think you can see like dust clouds off in the distance, like there's people coming. And then she I think she's got a kind of glove on. She touches the bike, and you just see this like this kind of smash into like her, kind of like, imagine the camera going down all of these like tubes and tunnels and stuff. And I think then I think it just kind of wipes out, and then yeah, maybe that's even it for now. We just see her doing some strange tech magic on a bike, and we don't see what happens next.
Dope. I really like that. Haley, do you want to show us Patti Smith?
I think our scene change, because we started the scene change and I'm going to continue it, is like, while that's happening, there's like one of those stereotypical desert birds flying overhead that's like, caw! They're still around, I guess. And then like you just hear caw, and like it flies over a different place, which is like a lot more vegetated than the last scene we saw. And like there's like vines growing and bits of plants starting to sprout from the ground. And I think we see a woman in her like late 40s sort of flick her hair as she dismounts from her bike and like slowly walk over and like look at the plants with a look of satisfaction, and then walk a bit further down, and you can see that these plants are like encasing a building. And she runs her hands over the walls with like a bit of a lost in the past kind of look on her face. And then pulls out this metallic black with gold embossed lipstick tube, and like pulls off the top and goes to like wind it up so that the lipstick comes out the top, but it kind of gets a little bit stuck. And I think you see this look of like total contrast, look of absolute fury and rage and like death on her face for a second as she like is trying to get this up, and like kicks her foot through the wall, and it just like crumbles as she like flicks the lipstick up. And then as soon as it's up, it's like replaced by that really peaceful look again. And she applies the lipstick and then like looks like something's grabbed her attention and walks through the crumbling wall and picks up a I'm just going to say something. Picks up something from the ground, and you can't really see what it is, and looks at it and sort of smiles.
I love it. Ellen?
Yeah, so we have there's a large tree with big, strong branches close to the ground, and the tree's quite tall and old, and so there's big, long branches close to the ground, and as you go up, there's more big, thick branches. You can tell that the tree is quite old, and it's struggling for life, but there are still leaves on it. And almost camouflaged, we see, as the camera pans up this tree, we see for a second a lion, like legs dangling off this branch up in the tree, and then as the camera moves, just as the camera moves, you see the lioness like stand up and leap. Sorry, don't scratch while I'm on camera talking. Thank you. No. I said no. Sorry, guys. You see this lion glimmer leap across onto the roof of that building, and the camera's kind of not focused on the lion that's moving around the rooftops, and then she jumps across to another rooftop, and then across to another tall tree, and then the camera pans down out the front of this shop front, and a woman jumps down into frame, and she's wearing a pantsuit, like a black pantsuit. And as she jumps down, she fixes up her jacket and strolls off towards the front of the building.
I love it. I love it so much. So much mystery. It's gonna be the best. So we cut from that. We like smash cut from that straight to a cold open of the cold open comes before the credits. All right, we're just gonna ignore that. Of the group, the four of you standing back to back in a circle. In the middle of your group stands a sort of early teen boy, maybe a 13-year-old boy holding an apple in both hands, clutching it tightly. And around you stalk 4, maybe 5, maybe 6. Every time you try to count them, it's like they move and there are more or less of them. Coyotes, desert coyotes, which have, as they kind of stalk around you, every now and then they'll look at you, and their eyes, instead of having that like cat-like eye, will have like a thin snake slit. They look at you, and like a cobra, fan opens up on their neck, and you see the venom dripping from their teeth as they stalk around the wardens. They stand between you and your bikes, that safe exit, and we have yes, speaking of Chimera, exactly, Alan, and we have the young boy in the middle of you, and he seems paralyzed, perhaps with fear. Snake Odie's. My question is, and I think I want to go first to I think I actually want to go first to Goggles on this. Goggles, what do you do?
I think Goggles is looking around. She's wearing her, she always wears a kind of mask and respirator, and she kind of looking towards the others to see what they're like, where they're looking, and looking out at the coyotes. And I think she turns back towards the boy and kind of leans down towards him, and she's like, in this, I think she's got kind of some sort of amplification in her mask to get her voice out. She's like, "Don't be afraid. It's okay." To him, to try comfort him. Look, I'm Batman.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, he looks at you and gets this, like, I think he looks right into your big, scary eyes, and he opens his mouth as if to say something to you, but like pauses, like a fish gasping at the water, And,
I think she puts her hands on his shoulders and she's like, "What is it?"
You're the one that called it scary, man.
Yeah, she's trying to. I'm trying to comfort him in my own way.
Oh, it's lovely. It's absolutely what I want. He looks in your eyes, and he probably catches the reflection in your goggles. Turns his head as one of the coyote snake Koyotobras leaps through the air towards your group. Shizy. I will always get that wrong. Shizy.
That's all right. I'll probably get it wrong sometimes too. Shizy.
Shizy, what do you do? As this cobra leaps towards, I think specifically towards the boy and this apple that he holds.
Well, I raise up my human arm and strike down a lion paw at the snake Odie.
Sorry, I was muted and clicking elsewhere.
Good GM.
I think, I'm fucking woeful at this game. I think I would like to see you bring your strength to bear against this beast. What do you think about that?
I think this snake Odie is going to cop it.
Oh yeah, wonderful. So there are two moves that get involved with like the monster fighting thing, I guess. Well, no, that's not true. There's lots of moves, but there are two moves that kind of fit in this realm we're talking about. One is apply force, when you bring strength to bear to alter your surroundings or use your body to traverse an environment. Draw with guts. And the other one is smite, which is when you use an enemy's weakness against it. When you bring your strength to lion, smite is when you use an enemy's weakness against it, which I don't think we're approaching here. I don't know if these coyotes are particularly weak to lion, but I think apply force will be a good option here.
Yeah, I'm just smacking it right down.
Yeah.
I'm not really thinking of anything strategic here.
Yeah.
Going for the
So-
smack down.
Would you like to, on the roll for your party section,
Yes.
would you like to draw as many cards as you have guts?
Oh, I have so many guts.
How many guts? Show me your guts.
I've got 3 guts.
All right, so you can draw 3 cards. Is everyone? We're drawing cards, therefore we're now playing a role-playing game. We have stats and cards. It's a thing.
Ooh.
I hope Nora doesn't take any of it personally because we absolutely talk shit like this during every game. It's not.
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
I smashed it, by the
Holy
way.
shit, you did. So when
Oh
you
no, I just threw my ace off screen. Oh no! Come back, ace.
well,
Okay,
it's gone.
it was
It's gone
there.
forever.
No.
Did you
Oh, there it
do
is. Shoo! It
Okay.
just.
So when you draw an ace, aces are different. But aces. Let's talk about success and face cards and stuff. So PBTA tiered success. A 6 to 10 is successive cost. 2 to 5 is bad news. Face cards are full success. If they are the same suit, you can add them together. So if you draw a 6 and a 7 of the same suit, you can add them together, and that's like 14 or something. So maybe 13. And then you get the face result. So, but with you drew an ace, which means you get your full success, but you also get something else on your character sheet. Down the bottom, there's a section that says aces. Would you like to tick the spade section?
I would like to tick the spade section.
At any time that you
Ooh.
wish, you can discard that spade or return that spade to the deck to prevent damage to you or one of your coven. Very
Very
exciting.
nice.
And I'm just going to arrange these by suit because things happen when suits happen. Cool. So on a full success of the move apply force, you perfectly measure your strength and its application. Tell me, what do you do? What do we see? What does
So
it
we see this woman, dark hair, determined look on her face, baring her teeth, probably some unhuman like canine showing, and she's also growling in an unhuman like way, and her right arm is very much a lion's leg and paw. Smashes this cobra right in the head, and it goes flying in the dirt, knocked out. Maybe a bit of blood like coming out of its little face.
And in doing so, you kind of open up a gap in their circle around you. I think probably one of the other coyotes like rushes to it to like lend it aid to help it up on its feet. And one of the others starts to like tries to move around to cover the gap that it's left in the circle. Patty Smith, what do you do?
Gonna hate me, but anyway. I think Patty Smith says something like, well, ladies, if this is the day we die, I, for one, am going out in a blaze of glory. And she just lights up in flame from, like, the top of her head all the way down to the bottom of her body, just, like, lights on fire that's burning around her. And her intention is to try and use the fire to, like, scare the coyotes and create a bigger gap in the circle.
Oh, lordy. Oh, lordy, Meryl Streep. Beautiful. There's a move. There is a move called when you do magical shit. Where is it? When you weave a magic spell, you state your intent and you draw with glamour. Haley, you even stated your intent. You are very good at games. Thank you. And now you may draw with glamour. How much? Oh,
I'm bad at games because I don't know how to draw cards. Oh, cards! Oh, there's a little field that says cards.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I just enter into there the number of my glamour. Is that how it works?
That's right. The only thing I want you to check is on the bottom row, there's a tick box for enable hidden draws. Enable hidden draws. You want to make sure that is unticked.
Mm-hmm. I got 2 cards. I don't know what they mean. I got a jack of clubs and a 2 of diamonds.
Excellent. The Jack of Clubs is the higher one, so we might use that. On a face card draw for Glamour, you choose one. Have you got the moves in front of you? It's,
Yep.
There's like a tab on the bottom of the character sheets where it is.
Yes. Cool.
Choose one. Your spell has significantly increased or decreased effect. The spell is erratic or unstable. You must sacrifice something to cast the spell, or you attract unwanted attention.
I really like the idea of attracting unwanted attention because I just set myself on fire in a deliberately conspicuous spectacle.
I like that. Okay, so what I am going to do, I'm going to do 2 things. I am going to consider these dudes, because I have to track baddies' injuries as well. So I'm going to give them a disbanded injury because they are from Ellen's actions, and a distracted injury from Haley's wonderful actions. And you attract unwanted attention. I wonder what attention would be unwanted, because your goal is to attract some sort of attention, right?
Maybe it's not the coyotes. Maybe there's someone else around here.
There is always someone else around here. I love it. I will bank your unwanted attention for now, and I will ask you, True, upon seeing this pillar of flame form in the green desert, what do you do?
Who, me?
Yes.
Yes, me. Okay. Okay, so they've been sort of split up a bit, and they seem kind of all distracted out. We've got this massive, awesome pillar of fire that's keeping them distracted, or intimidating them. I think True is, seeing that they're split up, and maybe this is that time we can get them to run off to get that advantage. I think True is going to. I'm going to be coloring this probably as a bit of a magic-y thing, but it's really I'm trying to go for smite. By using their injuries.
Smite with magic. I love it.
And so I think I kind of step out forward, and True's a big lady. She's about 6 foot and probably shoving around a good 240. And so she steps out. She's got really nice, big, thick legs. And so stepping out towards them, she just goes, "Shoo!" And as she says it, she stomps down onto the ground, and it just makes this thunderous noise as she's trying to shake and rattle them to get them to run.
I love it. Would you like to draw as many cards as the target has injuries, which would be 2? You would be drawing DOS cards.
All right. So, those cards. That's tokens. That's cards. And submit. There. I got a 2 of hearts and a king of clubs. Clubs goes down there. All right.
I'm muted. I was muted for all of that. Boy, what a day. We'll use the clubs because that's the higher one, and we'll keep them arranged by suit because when we fill up a suit, we can replenish the deck. By the way, if we ever need to draw from the deck and we can't, you die. Someone dies. It's pretty great.
Do we have? It's all one communal deck.
Yeah, communal deck. Because you're a team.
Cool.
Because your power comes from your relationship as a coven.
So we live and die together.
Pretty well. It says one person dies, but I'm happy to kill you all at once.
I get you.
For sure.
Okay.
Hack the planet. So you drew really well, which means on a smite you choose 2. So can you see the list of options that you have there? Wonderful.
Yes. I think enemy's defeat does not cause collateral damage.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that to kind of get what I was wanting, I guess it's like captured or contained, but by contained, it would be like they are sent away. Does that seem appropriate? I mean, I don't particularly feel a need to kill them.
I'm okay with contained being contained in places that aren't here.
Okay.
Lou, did you want to give us some?
Oh, yeah. So perhaps I was thinking while this is happening, I think we get this moment of seeing all of these scenes playing out kind of reflected in goggles, goggles. And I think maybe I will try to like call all of our like bikes into us, like try communicate with our bikes and kind of get them to like roll in towards us. So like I guess like teaming up with that like smite and scaring them off and hopefully getting us away as well.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's a tension thing here at the moment. I absolutely love it. Do you want to sort of show us what that looks like as?
Yeah, cool. Okay, so I think we so I've just got narrative control. I don't need to draw stuff. Cool. Yeah, I think like it kind of happens as they're like scattering and kind of running off that we see maybe we hear the bikes first and they're kind of rolling in from the dark with their lights on, and I think we kind of get like as the camera comes back around, kind of zooms into Goggles like eyes again. I think we get that maybe it's some sort of actually like zooms up and we see this kind of like map of connections between like Goggles and the bike, and also Goggles and the other the rest of the coven, like some sort of like neon ley lines as like they're dragging the it's kind of dragging the bikes in, and you can kind of see this power flowing between like and out and through all of us. Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. Neon ley lines. Boy, I want to play with that some more. The child, fearful, frightened, but safe. What do you do?
Patty just like, oh.
No, sorry, you go first. And then I have a thing.
Oh, my thing is like one sentence. Patty just like the flame sort of like slowly simmers down, and like I think ash, like little bits of ash sort of like she just brushes them off her jacket and is like, well, that was anticlimactic.
Oh, I love it. Shizy, what do you see in this child that tells you, that he is from the same community that you grew up in?
It's something about the way that his eyes dart around. Like he's hyper aware, and even his little ears are twitching. Where are you from, boy?
And he points. Not far from here. Bigger walk than I'd wanted. And he has the like apple in his hand, and he like tries to fit into a pocket, and it won't fit. And so he just kind of holds it awkwardly in front of him.
Gonna eat that?
Oh no, well, not yet. Maybe soon. And I want to ask you, the children of your community, and this is something I imagine you were never allowed to do, being ousted. But what is it that they have to like? Boy, how do I say this? So I'm thinking this is like part of the like a coming of age ceremony, right? And so what significance do these apples hold to your small group of people?
Apples are not very common in the community. So when you are deemed to be old enough and or wise enough to participate in community discussion for your first gathering, you bring one apple and you slice it. So there's a slice for every respected elder at the table, and it doesn't matter how thin the slices are, you just have to slice it. And if all goes well, you get to eat the last piece.
I love that. And I think he just like holds it in front of me, like he doesn't sort of know what to do with it. And he looks around. They won't be coming back, will they?
Well, I hope they do. I'm quite hungry. I don't think that apple's going to be enough to fill my belly. I want some. I want some KO breast for dinner.
And there's probably like you know, the far off howl of several of them calling somewhere across the valley. Another howl echoes through a canyon. Patty Smith, what do you do?
I think I look at the boy and I'm like, well, you'll be fine from here. Ladies, we ought to get going. We don't want to be late.
Oh, I love this.
True will kind of go over and rustle this kid's hair. Well, Squirt, where were you heading to?
So over upon that hill there sits a small bluff, and that's where I live. And this is it's about half the day by walk, but if I run and I think I've got the adrenaline for it, I think I could be there in 2/3 of that time.
Well, I'll kind of look around at the rest of everyone. I'm guessing we sort of are. I mean, it would be so. I probably have no clue about this ritual that's this kid's on. So it's really more of a look of, are we going to have this kid run across the desert? Sort of like, you know, looking over at the bikes.
Yeah.
Looks like a long run, kid.
I think Patty is like, I don't know, rolls her eyes a little bit and looks at the boy and is like, tell me, boy, how would you feel being delivered home by some dust wardens? the implication is that it might be shameful.
Yeah.
Not because I know about the ritual, just because we're outcasts. I don't know anything about this ritual.
Yeah, and I think that like he has that feeling where like you can see him preparing himself to like say no and to take the hard road, and then he hears those howls again across the canyon. He's like,
Just
I'm
as
sure
the howls are starting up, Goggles pats him on the back and pushes him. He's like, "Safe travels home, little guy. We've done everything we can."
he like stumbles forward and he's like, no, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure. They'd be worried about me by now. No. Please, yes.
I think I'm probably smiling. I don't know how sincere Goggles is when shoving this kid out into the desert. What do I think, Goggles? I know you well. Are you being serious, or are you giving this kid the piss?
I was more trying to force a decision to be made, I think.
Gotcha.
I'm like, these guys are gonna argue for ages. I'll just like make something happen now. But I was also trying to I was playing with protecting Patty's dignity in a slight way because she suggested a dumb thing and I thought I would go along with it. Even though I didn't personally agree with it.
I think Truth's sort of kind of chuckling to herself as she goes, well, it's a long walk though, kids. You better get started soon. As I go over and start hauling myself up onto my trike. It's certainly got plenty of room for someone else to ride, though.
I believe we've got two of the biggest bikes that have ever been invented, and we're like, yep, no room up here for you, kid.
Shazi just starts walking back toward town.
I'm really interested by this, Shazi. Do you not feel a part of your old home? Do you not have any sort of connection to this kid?
Yeah, I totally do, but it's more about the kid has got to figure out life for himself. Like, is he going to go back to the village and be part of the community, safe and sound, or is the kid gonna like rough it out in the wild? But also, like, even going back to the safe community, there's part of the ritual is like making that journey yourself. So there's a bit of her that respects that, and that's probably like she probably felt when she was at that time that she would have been fine doing it, but you know, she was never invited to.
I love that. I'm really interested in that. That's cool. And so I guess this kid starts walking across the desert with like
don't walk, kid, run. Run.
With the kind of what would you call it? That like expectation of weariness that comes when someone realizes they're about to run a couple of kilometers across a desert. You know, along with these wolves howling and the dark of the night, I guess the question is, what is next and where is next for the Wardens? Where were you headed to?
I'm guessing we have to meet a person about a thing.
Yeah, someone said you were going to be late. Who was it that said that? Was that you, Haley?
That was me.
Then I'm putting it on you. Patty Smith, who have you lined up your meeting with?
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna to go down the stereotypical route and say that we need fuel, and in return for fuel, we do things that we're okay with, but things we wouldn't otherwise do. And so we're meeting with these people to collect a small amount of fuel from our last activity and also find out what it is that they want us to do next.
Okay, I like this. Returning to the quest giver. Very helpful.
Yeah, right back on you there.
No, thank you. When we biodiesel, I love the biodiesel. Can you all give me like a quick snippet, like a 10, 30-second thing of montage of you riding through the desert at night, or through the overgrown, what was previously desert at night?
Are we all doing that?
Yeah, and I think, actually, I would like to see, this will be better. I want you to pick one other warden, and I want you to give me something between the two of you that we see as you ride across the desert, montage style. For example, Shizy, you should pick someone else and give me a quick snip between the two of you. And as I said, like 10, 30 seconds, very, very small thing as we pass.
As Shizy is riding on her old postie's motorbike, she winds her way up next to True, and she lowers her like bandana that's around her mouth, and she yells out while they're riding, "Why didn't you kill those snake oddies?"
Now, the point was just to make sure we were safe. I didn't see any reason to kill them.
That's just a fight for another day.
So we have something to look forward to.
We could have looked forward to lunch.
It sounds like True's lack of horrendous violence towards animals has hurt you in some way, Shizy, which I really like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to discard a single card from the deck. So I'll do this, and then I'll do this. And then this one that I'm going to be able to see, but you can't. Oh, an ace? Really? Wow. Will sit off to the side. And that just is going to show that sort of tension between the group, eroding at your power, your shared power. But thank you, Alan. Contempt coins. Perfect. Yeah, this is absolutely, honestly, oh, that is a really interesting way of doing this as well. Haley. Sorry, not Haley. Patty Smith. Would you like to give us a scene with you and someone?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Shizy due to the location near their hometown. And I want to say, I'm surprised you didn't send that boy back with a message.
What kind of message would I send back with a child?
Well, when you have strong feelings and only one way of making those feelings known. I know it's not going to be long before we go there together, and it's not going to be to deliver some boy home.
what do you think our commitment is to that town?
I think Patty like gives you like a I know that you're like, this is her point of view. I know that you're bullshitting me, kind of like a little bit of a laugh, and like revs up the engine on her bike a little bit, and like does some gratuitous stunty thing. I don't know anything about that motorcycle.
Wheelies.
Yeah. And then kind of circles back around you because your bike's a bit slower, being an ex postman bike, and says, "What I'm saying is, when the time comes, I stand with you, sister. They're going to be full of regrets." And then she just rides off.
And so from that, like, last remark, I think she's Shizai. Shizy is heartened to know that you're going to be fighting alongside her as well as she's fighting alongside you. But she doesn't quite know what the fight is yet.
Yeah, that's really good. It's really good. My only question is, Shazi, when you being as lovely and cryptically poetic as you were you intentionally trying to hide something from Patty Smith, or were you just sort of, is that just your character? You don't answer questions unless they're asked.
Yeah, no, it was more about trying to find out what she knew. It wasn't so much about hiding something. It was more about uncovering truths.
Interesting. I wish there was a Story Brewers movie in this game. We need to. I need to write that down immediately. Yeah, we'll make one. I promise. Goggles. What do we see of you?
Yeah, I think maybe at the end of that scene, like Goggles comes like kind of speeding around those two to catch up with True, who's kind of rolling along out in front. And I think it's just some cool stuff where Goggles rides up alongside and looks over at True, and like their bikes are ridiculously loud, and kind of like points like out and around, and I think it's kind of like you take the high road and I'll take the low road kind of thing, and we just see the bike go. I think True's bike goes up along a ridge, and it's that kind of we're just seeing like silhouettes of the bike, and I do really like that whole like Joshua Tree like silhouette like thing up along the ridge, and I think we see that, and then Goggles kind of rides down below, and I think that's just all cool, like there's all like fireflies and weird like luminescent like plants in the night, and it looks heaps pretty and cool.
Oh, I love that. It's really nice. You are, yeah, Lou, very, very good at this. Tyler, as you give us truths, I'm also going to ask you, can you, because I want to know, and so I'm going to put it on you. In yours, can you also reference to us what the moon looks like in this world with all that has changed?
Yeah. All right. I think we've been traveling a while, and we're probably nearing up to where our destination is, and we've pulled up to stop for a sec, or, got our water bottles out, drinking. as True goes up to Patty. And we could see we're all kind of caught in this very red light of the moon. Whatever has happened has brought this glaze to the atmosphere. So what normally would be very white light comes across as very red. And so the moon is always red. And when we're out in the sunlight, it has that orangey light to it. But the moon, because it's normally, we can hear stories of when it was said to be silver up in the sky. But now it's just blood that shines down on us. As True takes a drink out of her water bottle. Pats, we had time to run that kid home. I mean, he's probably snake mutt poop by now.
I feel like his fate might be worse if he showed up at home with us. It's not like everyone here is unfamiliar with that town, and they're unfamiliar with us. Keep your eyes on what's ahead. I'm worried about this deal.
Well, he better not fuck with us, or he'll definitely regret it. Besides, we did what we were asked to do. They better pay up.
Yeah, we always do what we're asked to do, but there's less and less fuel every time. Haven't you noticed?
Yeah. I wonder if it's a question of us negotiating better, or if our friends don't have as much to give anymore.
Let's try and find out.
Yeah. I'll follow your lead, Pats, and if we've got to, we've got ways of making people talk.
Of course, this is not our first rodeo.
You then do a stunt to show that this is not your first rodeo.
Yes, and reference rodeo as we are in the mythical Midwest.
Show me how this is not your first rodeo. Oh, I really like that. Okay. This is coming to a good time for us to take a break, because it also gives me a chance to deal with my what would you call it? Having to come up with fucking quests, because Haley's like, and then they tell us exactly what to do, so that creative load on you. So I will see you all in happy with 5 again. 5 past the hour. Does that work for everyone? Thumbs. I'll catch you. I'm very excited.
It's fun, Sid.
I'm looking forward to seeing these characters bump up against things, which will be good. I'm very excited.
This game is nifty.
What do you find nifty about it, Tyler?
I think what I originally thought was going to be neat was the close group dynamic of it, that interdependence, but at the same time, kind of like more, it's more of that family feel of we're stuck with each other. We may not agree, and I think that's a nice dynamic to play with. I think that's going to be. It feels fun.
I have many thoughts about it, but that's definitely something I like as well. Alan's back. Cool. It means I should probably do some work. Hey, I should probably do some creative heavy lifting that we haven't, that I was trying to get out of in my every time I play a game. I did so many meet cute things with Barry today that oh man, creative. I do all my creating already. So I want to talk about this small community that they come upon where he's going to town. This small community we come upon where you normally gather your fuel from. I'm bad at names, so I need a name from you, Tyler, of this person that normally gives you, because I don't think Haley named them before, so she got out of that. But you, Tyler, you are up.
All right. I think he usually goes by Spider.
Oh, good name. Good name. This would Blades in the Dark. You would be a spider. That is absolutely perfect. Spider's community is interesting because they have more land than they have people, more buildings than they have people. It's as if Spider and his gang, for want of a better word, his biker gang, has come in and taken this from a group of people much larger than them. As you ride up to it, I think as you kind of come over the crest, you come to the canyon in which this, or the small valley in which this community sits. What I would like to hear from you is I would like to hear one thing you see that shows you how few people they have, and one thing you see that shows you how much comfort they live in. Yeah. So who rides at the front? Who would be riding at the front of your group at this point? Someone can put their hand up, and then that person can start telling me about this town. Goggles, you ride a big bike. Is your big bike in the front or at the back?
I think I started out in the front, but I think it makes sense for the lioness to be out in front, right? So I step backwards. Everyone steps backwards, leaving Shizy in front.
I really like that.
My bike doesn't go very fast. It putts. It makes funny grinding noises sometimes. And I'm pretty convinced that I would be able to outrun this bike in my full lion form. We're cruising. It's not so much a straight line. I think it's similar to how we were describing the scene going back to town earlier, where we're riding up against each other or playing a little bit. But I'm probably leading the way in terms of direction wise. And we slow right down as we start to wind up the hill, because my bike don't go that good uphill. and the dust. So we come to an archway of a dilapidated bridge that shows that the track that we are riding on now was once a healthy river. We get up to this old bridge that's covered in vines. I break and I wait for everyone to catch up with me to then pass on the storytelling responsibility to another team member.
Oh my god! Why do we even play games if we hate it this much? Oh, that's so good.
So what you wanted answered was how much space they have and how much luxury they're living in.
Yeah, it was more like how few they are in people and how much luxury they live in. Yeah.
Oh, I just
absolutely
didn't really listen to the question.
No,
Obviously,
that's
I was
okay.
too worried about getting.
No, sorry,
I
I wasn't railing on you. I was just trying to work out what I'm doing. I think I think that there's all like lights. So we're stopped at this bridge, and there's like lights rigged up across the bridge, and I think there's like little lights kind of set up like all over. So it's in a little valley, you said. There's like heaps of buildings and there's like tiny lights on them so we can see how much space there is. But I think there's just a little space in the center that's really well lit. And I think they've got there's some sort of like big silo in the town, like some sort of plant that's operating. That's like it's a big deal, I guess, to have something like that for such a small community. Which I'm guessing this is like how they make the fuel.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
I think as we're coming up, we since I think we've got the idea that they, with this plant, they're producing fuel that gives them a great deal of wealth. So we can see like where people have had to bring in tribute to give them. So there is like all of the nicest things people could have to give. Like there's this beautiful furniture we could see sitting on the porches of these houses that are towards the center. We could see like there's colored lanterns for these lights inside of there. We probably can even hear like some music going on where they've had like a record player. They've had people bringing them all of these things, but there's so few of them. It's like there's just stuff standing on top of stuff on top of stuff. It's the worst of conspicuous consumption. It's way more than any one person could have, but they all have that much crap.
Absolutely. I love it. And Haley?
Yeah, I'm going to add to that like, in order to get in, you kind of have to go through a security gate, and like there's cameras rigged up around the perimeter, which shows both that there's not many of them. They don't have enough people to actually keep watch physically themselves, but also they have the money to and the electricity to get cameras going. And I think it's this like act of subordination when you ring the thing and you're like, "It is I, here for your thing. Please let us in."
I really like that. So let's see that. Let's see that moment as you approach and ring and like enter into this community, and I will come in with some wonderful tension.
Well, I'm happy to do the ringing. So I think Patty, sorry, should know my name. Patty does one of those slide stops on the bike and like jumps off and like does her usual getting off the bike, you know, flipping hair ritual and like looking badass. And then for a moment looks like really defeated and sighs and looks at the little buzzer thing and like walks over and presses the button. Waits.
Yeah, I think you can probably see them moving through the light under a door, and like they sort of are waiting for you as well. Like they're waiting you out, I guess.
Yeah. Hello, we're here to see Spider. Spider, it's us. I can see you there.
The door opens to a like small statured man in a big leather jacket, too big for him, and it hangs like off his shoulders and past his the sleeves hang past his fingertips, and he smiles warmly as you enter, and hey Porridge, and he says the coven have come, my dust wardens. I'm so glad to see you again. And he probably like holds his arms out in like a big welcoming hug. My wardens, please come in, step in. I love that he crosses from Elle to Luke through the back of Haley's cab.
Luke was whistling. He
Cheater.
stole Porridge from me.
What a cheater.
So as Spider is beckoning us to come in, Shai slinks past Patty and is like, Spider, how are you going, old friend? And rubs her head on his cheek, like on his 5 o'clock shadow.
That's so good. Yeah, I think it looks like super unkempt, right? Like it looks like it doesn't look stylish or structured. It just looks like he's super unkempt. And he leans into you and then says, "Oh, I'm so glad you've returned. We have it's always a long time when you're away. Please, would you like to bring your bikes through? I'm sure that both they and you are thirsty from the long trip." I'm trying to think of like this big well lit area in the center of the town, right? And I think the places that you walk through, everything's set really far apart. Like it takes time to walk between each building. And he takes you to the large section where they have what looks like incredibly complicated scientific machinery set up to release this fuel out of a small nozzle. And he says, yeah, actually, that's a really interesting thing too. So, Goggles, what does it look like with your bike heading through this town, like with how large it is and how, even in a town where things are so spaced apart, I imagine that the streets are not built for your bike. What does that look like?
I guess maybe the bike is, I don't know, I think she can ride it pretty well, but I guess maybe it's Yeah, I was tempted to like, but I don't think I'll do that. I want to form Voltron with everybody's bikes later on.
Sure.
But I'm saving that. I think maybe there's maybe she's knocking down, like you're saying, there's like a lot of space. I'm kind of imagining we're passing like well lit places like with all this furniture and stuff on the porches, but there's like other places that are like darker that there's nobody kind of living in. So I think maybe there's a few places, maybe she even like knocks down a whole bunch of like piled up like you know, lounges. I'm guessing they're using the other houses nobody's living in for like storage of all that extra awesome shit that they've got. So there's probably like a couple of times where like stuff gets like knocked down. How does Spider care about all of his awesome shit? Or
I think we probably see this like snatch of his emotions come through, right? And it's like frustration. Almost you could almost see it tipping over into rage for something so small, but he covers it with this soft, like real maple syrupy smile that comes out after it.
Is he writing something himself, seeing as we're all coming through, or what is he? Or is he just walking out in front of us?
I want to put him on Heelys because I want people to hate him more, but I think he walks. I think he walks with like a really slow, purposeful, almost as if he floats over the like dry grass. And he says, as he arrives, he says, now you've worked very, very hard for me, and I'm so grateful to have you out there on the road, spreading my word, making this world a better place. But he like sighs and he's like, you are later than I expected, as if you stopped along the way sometime tonight to be distracted by beasts of the wastelands. And he like sighs heavily and he says, so unfortunately, given that you are a quarter of the time late, I will, yeah, absolutely. Hey, like he's very specific, but just vague enough that you think he might know what happened. He might have eyes over her. You might have drawn unwanted attention. And he says, given that you are a quarter of the night late, I'm afraid I must withhold a quarter of your fuel. And he like looks over the four of you and says, so when you ride off to take on my next assignment, tell me which of you will be walking.
I don't know what Luke's saying, but he
I can read
yelling.
lips.
It was a bad word.
It was a naughty.
But also Goggles was like totally dropped and was like, Shizzy's bike shit. You can have that.
Now, Spider, we've been such good friends for so long. Why would you penalize us for something that it was out of our control? We know that, you know, the planes aren't in our control. We know that you have your workers that patrol down there. There were some stray snake odies that we had to deal with.
I think he places his hands on his hips in a real nonchalant fashion, but he does it to like expose the weapon at his side. And it's
As he does that, Shizy responds in kind with like a grin that shows like her fangs.
nice.
If I'm not driving too far the kind of narrative, I think I'm probably have moved back to the back of my trike and have unstrapped something since I think we were on a task. And I have pulled out one of those kind of military-looking lockers. You can see written on the side is fragile, so it must be from France. No, it says fragile on the side. But as he says that, and I look at her, or I look over at Spider with his gun out. As I've got the crate, I'm like, it's not like we only brought back 3/4 of what you were looking for. And kind of give that, as I pick the crate up, that momentary sort of oops, about to drop it thing before I catch it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Do you want to negotiate for us? It's sounds like you're employing some sort of charm or intimidation to get something from someone, and so you draw with groove. How groovy are you?
I am not groovy. As a matter of fact, as a crew, we're not overly groovy, except for Patty.
No. Well, Patty gets to do stunts, so Patty's pretty groovy. So when you employ charm or intimidation to do something for someone, draw with groove.
All right, so I draw 1 card.
Yeah, groove is the stunt thing. Everyone knows that.
All right, 1 card. Submit. Which is a 7.
On a 6 to 10, you pick 1. They give you an unbalanced deal or unfavorable exchange. They demand immediate actionable proof of your trustworthiness, or they'll help you, but it's no secret.
I think let's go with I think an actionable proof of our loyalty, willingness to help him.
Oh, okay. Cool. Okay. He... Okay. I hope that Haley's okay if I move the cost onto her. You know, you're a team. You draw from the same deck, so I can move the cost onto you. He says, "Oh, of course. I apologize. It would be that was so rude of me." And he says, "Given that we are being friends and helping each other here," he says, "Why don't we all apologize?" And he turns to you, Patty Smith, and he stands above you and probably even like puts out his hand, like bend the knee, kiss the ring, right? Like he places his hand out to you and he says, "Apologize. Let's be friends."
I think Patty like stands there for like quite a long time and then looks over at True. What expression is on True's face?
True probably looks like she's nearly ready to take this crate and smash him across his smug little face.
I have a quick question as well, which is what expression is on Goggle's face given your vow to Patty?
I think, yeah, she's noticed what's going on, and I think she's kind of moving, I think she's moving towards the, like, any kind of, like, power cables or anything that she can see to try, like, if Patty is going to, like, kiss Spider's ring, then Goggles is definitely going to make something big and bad happen before that happens.
All right. I'm reading the vibe that we're pretty angry, so I'm going to play into that. So I think Patsy goes, "Oh, I'm sorry," and like reaches out to grab his hand, and as she does, she like pulls him onto the ground. And I think not intending to actually injure him, but just to toss him onto the ground basically, and like stand over him and say that you're such a dickhead.
Cool.
Shicey has to like go over and like stand next to or behind Patty just in case.
Oh my god, I love this. I love this so much.
Can I also just have Goggles getting a little further away while all this is happening? Just into a potentially advantageous position to do a thing?
I think he lays there shocked, like eyes wide. This was not what he expected in his seat of power, I guess. And he looks at you with probably the same paralyzed expression that you saw on the small child holding the apple earlier. And I think like I don't think he moves to get himself up. I don't think he has that strength of mind to pull himself to his feet. But you do hear like I think you do hear him like very softly calling for help, as if he's like trying to find his voice. What do you do?
Is the fuel there or not there?
Yeah, I think it's so Lou had this like really big like fuck Ellen, hectic. Lou had this like big like silo, right? Like a water tower almost that sits. I like a sort of mix between like a water tower and a grain silo. And then it sort of runs with these tubes of vaguely scientific equipment that like, you know, rolls up and down and through and around. And yeah, it's like it's there. There's probably like a stream of hoses with old with valves that have been pulled off other things. I guess some of them would be like those open close like lever valves. Some of them are like old turny things. Probably one or two that's like a digital switch, or you push a button and it starts something. Yeah.
I think Patsy puts her foot on his chest and reaches down to disarm him. And like as she's doing that, she's turning around to True saying, "We better take as much as we goddamn can, because I don't think we're going to come back."
As you say that, True will kind of set that box down beside, right, like behind you. Oh, not so you trip on, but you know, near you and near Shy, so that you can watch it. I think True still is of the, you know, kind of believes we came in, we're buying it with what we said we were. If you want to cause a problem, you little shit, we will step on you and your men if we have to. But we're doing our part. We're getting our pay. It's on you if there's a problem. And so sets it down there and looks over at Goggles. Fill her up as she rolls her trike over and then moves back to start moving the rest of our bikes over.
Goggles jumps immediately into action. And I think I want to I think we just see her running around and like operating the like different like things. But I think what I want to do, seeing as I'm so techie, is maybe like set off like alarms and stuff on the other side of their like of the area that we came in on. Do you know what I mean? So that the ones that are here are going to like run the wrong way kind of while we get it up. So I don't think I'm doing. I don't know. I'm kind of picturing my relationship with technology being a combination of magic and and tech, but like it probably is just magic that I'm doing right now, right?
Okay, we have run into something that I have as a bit of an issue with the game that we need to talk through, which is that the issue is there are moves that you can use to do magic, and then there is a magic move, which is frustrating to say the least. So we can either do. I guess it depends on which of the two moves has consequences that are more interesting, or that we're trying to engage with more, right? Do you think this is get equipped, where we're going to talk about whether the bikes require maintenance or you draw unsafe attention? Or are we going to talk about channel, where the attention's there, you might have to sacrifice something, or your spell could be erratic or unstable?
I feel like I've already done on-screen like magic. So maybe it's just interesting to try the other move out where I'm bringing out some sort of device, because I've got my tools as that machine mind interface thing as
your gear. So, I love that.
So maybe I'll try that out.
Too easy. So when you bring out a tool or gadget to help you operate a device, a draw with gear. Oh, your biggest stat. Oh, how convenient. Yeah, you really
gamed. Yeah, so I think what we see is that kind of glove that she was using earlier, but maybe some sort of I think it's like a spike. And I think she just spikes into one of the lines with it, and maybe it's just a I might just be seeing as so much of this actually seems to be like analog kind of equipment, the pump and the silo and stuff. Maybe I'm actually going to try like electromagnetic pulse all their power out, and we can just like fill our bikes up using gravity and get out of here. That seems like fun. So are you saying yes, yes, yes? Because
yes,
I can't hear you.
I'm actually saying yep, dope, I love it. But yes, yes, yes is
awesome. So I'm what am I doing?
You are drawing with gear.
So that's 3.
That's 3.
Now I'm playing as well.
You are. Now you are playing a game.
Ooh, an ace. Ooh, and also 2 hearts.
Dope. The ace will be enough, but that's okay. So on your character sheet down the bottom, you should have a section for diamonds. Ace of diamonds. The ace of diamonds is basically you kind of shift up 1 point, so your 5s count as partial successes and your 10s count as full successes, which is rather cool.
So it seems like we're using a lot of our awesome successes early on in this.
Absolutely. The deck, part of version 3 changing is that the deck changed to oh boy, that's okay. It's all right. We'll talk about that later. What does this look like?
So does an ace count as a?
Oh yeah, aces. Yeah, you get everything you want. So the move, I'm pretty sure, is like on a full success, it's all good. Yep, you utilize your equipment as desired. Sprinkle some magic gear shit on me.
Yeah, so I think we see the like spike go in, and I think we kind of see this you know, kind of like blue, you know, electrical pulse like run out along the line and like just spread out through the entire and as it moves along, all the lights just maybe seeing as I did so awesome, like the lights are like popping out there, like and you can probably hear the, like, I don't know how, we just know there aren't a lot of them, but I think we can probably hear them freaking out and not knowing what's going on. But I guess, yeah, I don't know if that includes filling our bikes up, but I feel like I've caused a really good distraction.
Absolutely. True. I think, like, even though Goggle's spike is bigger, I have a feeling that it's more efficient. And I think that Bessie is probably like the longest thing to fill up. Like, it takes time. What does it look like as Bessie finishes filling and you, and then whatever you do, whatever the thing you do is?
I suppose we're planning on getting out. So, I think I'm guessing that Spider's still down there, and as we, the bike's getting filled up, and you can hear that just constant sound of the gas going into Bessie, and she does have, like this massive gas tank for a bike. And it's probably by now that we're starting to hear like the voices of Spider's henchmen that are getting pissed off. They realize something's up. So I'll be looking over, and as it starts to get towards I can see it's filled up the tank, and I'm looking back towards where I've got, like the spare bit, like the barrel that's stuck on the back of where we could put more. I'm looking over at Patty, and is it time to go? And I'm holding the nozzle.
And Patty is like, we can kick some asses. We can't make the fuel out of the sand.
I'm sorry. I'm somewhere. My mic got zapped. What was that?
Patty says, look, we can kick some asses. We can't make fuel out of the sand.
Sure thing. And so I'll start filling up that side tank, but I'm definitely looking around like, oh, hell, something's coming up, and maybe even you could probably feel me like drawing in some of the power from us as I'm preparing myself for problems.
Yeah, and I think it's probably Shizy that like takes the first shot, right? Like I think you get physically hit by a bullet. Like it's from across the way, down these really wide alleyways between the buildings and this large amount of space between them. They seem to be like firing wildly in the direction, and yeah, I think one just cops you. And what I'm going to do, Elle, is I'm going to get you to write us an injury for your character. And an injury is just a descriptive word or phrase that describes your current position. It can be as animalistic as you want or as whatever as you want. I'm just going to finish that so it's in there. There you go. That's better. But yeah, throw in an injury. So I guess, and I give you full narrative authority as well to tell us sort of where and what that looks like for you.
So we hear the whistle of the bullet, and in slow-mo, like you see it clip the shoulder of her lion arm, and she yelps like a proper
Mm-hmm.
creature yelp, and then just a split second later, that yelp turns into a roar, and she screams some very specific words and takes that pain and surprise to change the shooters into worms or some other harmless creature.
That escalated so hard. I love it. Do you want to?
She just got shot, man.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it.
You Shizzy.
You were just going in this really cool like cadence, and it was like really drawing me in, and then you're like, everyone's worms. Like shit.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to turn everyone into worms.
Do you want to draw with glamour and turn people into worms?
Yeah, I do. Glamour.
I also discarded another card.
I really like how it's just like a full instinctive reaction to turn them into worms. So.
Yeah.
That is something you've done before for sure.
Oh yeah. So 2 cards. Submit.
I mean, this could all.
We must be running out of good cards, right?
Yes.
Yes.
We have a 5
yes,
and a
we
2.
are. Cool. Neither of which are good for you. So on a 5
Yeah, I was just trying to turn people into worms after being shot in the shoulder.
Wonderful. I would like to know your transformatory magic. What do you normally have to sacrifice to get that to work for you? What do you have to give to the power?
A truth.
Oh,
So like,
I love it.
yeah.
That will come up. I'm going to write that down, and that is going to come up at a later time because we can't do truths in the middle of an action scene.
No, that's boring.
We'll do truths later, and I'm very interested to find out what that's about. And the other thing I'm going to ask you is with the erratic flailing of your body, which one of your comrades do you clip with your spell as it is cast out into the night?
I want to see Patty as a worm.
I mean, I don't want to say Patty's a worm. I want to ask Haley, Patty, what does this spell do to you when it touches you?
Look, I'm happy to go full worm if that's what's required here. Yeah, maybe part worm.
Part worm? Lip worm?
It's definitely got to be some sort of creature shape-shifting thing. I quite like the worm idea. I kind of want to go like a bit Medusa in that it's the hair that turns into worms.
Oh, that's so good. You gotta take worm.
Oh.
I love that like Medusa hair turns into worms.
And like definitely Patty doesn't notice for like quite a while.
That's so good. So good. And I think at this point we want to. I mean, we didn't use smite, but I'm more than happy to have them all contained by worms at the moment. I think you probably get a couple of them, and there's still like shots ringing out into the group as well. True, your hands are still full. You're still busy at the moment, so I guess I'll ask Goggles. In the midst of this fight with magic being slung about, what do you do?
Blow up the fuel silo.
Okay.
That's what I'm aiming to do
Okay.
as we're leaving.
Okay. Okay.
Because we're never coming back here, right?
Apparently not.
I'm rigging the silo to blow once. Yeah.
Dope. This is definitely apply force. I understand. I like you can do it magically. You can do it with your gear. But I think both are super good. But either way, I think the move we're going to be resolving is apply force.
Yeah, I think it's super fast. Like just running some sort of like fuse or something. I think while all these crazy shit's going on, I think it's quite practical. And so what do I do? Apply force with guts.
Apply force is guts. Are you gutsy?
Don't know, probably not. I don't feel gutsy. No, I've got one.
That's okay.
Okay, here we go.
We can finish this on some curve.
And it's 8 of clubs.
Okay, on a 6 to 10, choose one. You damage something you didn't mean to. You get hurt along the way. You attract unwanted attention. You move into a risky position. You gain an injury. And everyone else.
And everyone dies. Was that the final bit?
No, that was L's.
Damage something you didn't mean to, which could be people or bikes. I get hurt. Probably just get hurt, I think.
Okay, I think that's a good way to, because we're coming to the end of the session, so that'll be something that exists, and it'll give us a chance to do some healing stuff, which is super cool.
It totally started being directed by Michael Bay towards the end. Sorry about that.
I love that. What's your injury that you pick up when you get hurt?
Well, I'm wearing a mask and a respirator. It's got to be some sort of serious burns, I guess.
Okay, cool. I like it. So put that in your injuries section, and then who wants to give me? I do want to see. Okay. I do want to see what it looks like as you like ride off into the sunrise, I guess, coming out of this. And one of the things that I definitely want to see in this is like the wind whipping through Patty's hair. Lou, do you want to give us this injury as you take us into the riding into the sunrise?
Yeah, so I guess we see True like finishing up, kind of filling up the thing, and everybody starts rolling out. And I think we see Goggles still like scrambling to I think probably what happens is that she lights the fuse and starts to ride back and kind of looks back over her shoulder, and it's stopped. Like it stopped, so she's got to ride back around, and it's like all of these spiders minions are running in, and like he's probably up now too, right? Because we just left him on the ground and thought we were going to ride off. Yeah, so I think that's all like shooting and chaos and stuff, and probably we see like Goggles ride in and kind of like relight the like maybe like purposefully bail off her bike and like relight the thing, and then we just see like and everyone's falling down, and then there was that bridge, right, with all of the like vegetation and stuff. So I think the others are out in front, and Goggles comes like riding out of this big huge fireball, and all of the like vegetation is like catching fire.
And also there is a stream of burning oil beginning to trickle down the track, which was the old riverbed.
Yeah, this was like 9 episodes of this season 1 was all in slow-mo of this one scene. It was very artsy. Yeah, and then I think as the bridge is kind of Goggles comes off the edge of the bridge, and then I guess she's probably half on fire, and the camera kind of slides along to somebody else, I guess, because we need to see that worm hair and Patty's bike. I still want to know what Patty's bike looks like.
If I can throw something in real quick. I think as we're peeling out, and I know True would be very concerned about you having to go back to light this thing. And so, probably would have held back a little bit as we've got, depending on how the other two want to play this, them leading out. My guess is that Shy would be kind of leading out with Patty right behind, and I was coming up behind that, see you fall back. So I sort of stop, and that explosion happens, and you could see on True's face this look of like real fear that something's happened to you. So as we see your silhouette coming out from it, this look of relief is on her face, and she looks over at Spider, says, I think the deal was broken. And she reaches down and grabs that box that we had left there with him, picks it up, and as she throws her trike into gear, she's going to like run right over his arm. As he's scrambling away and
Tyler,
tear out.
I love you, True. I'm so interested to. So you picked up the box, right? You're taking that with you?
Yep.
That's good. I need to write that down. So we need to find out what's in the box, Pulp Fiction style. Patty, please tell me about your bike.
Yeah, so as we get the riding away shot of Patty following Shizy, I think it starts from the wheel and then like sort of pans up the bike. And I think like Patty's bike is like a really classic all black Harley Davidson type bike. However, it is not the right size for her. It is too big for her, which is why she has to do the slidey stop and the stunts, because she can't actually like stop normally and stay still. So I think you get the idea as we go up this bike, and it's like sleek, and she keeps it in really good condition and well polished. And you see that her legs are like too short for it. It's clear not her bike. And then like you get up to her face, and like the wind is whipping through the hair, and then she like puts her hands on top of her head to like fix her hair, and like pulls out a worm. And I think you just get the shot of her like looking at this worm with like a really disappointed but slightly perplexed look on her face while she's not decelerating in the motorcycle and still riding like as fast as she can. She's like, I will deal with this later.
That is so good. Haley, if you don't have an injury about your worm hair, you should probably put one in. I think that's at least so that we remember it. Super good.
No one's gonna be forgetting the worm hair.
I just a week is a long time. You never know. We all got lives. Oh god, that's perfect. We are on the button at 10 p.m. at the moment. Why doesn't everyone take a minute or two, refresh yourselves? Then we'll come back. We'll do a debrief, and then we'll do feedback. How does that sound? Wonderful. Catch you in 2 minutes.
I don't want to be a huge party pooper, but I do have to dip relatively quickly.
Yep, that's super okay.
I have probably very foolishly booked myself fairly tightly. I have inspectors in about 7 hours, and of course, this is 6 a.m. for me, so I've got to hit my sleep pretty soon. And it was a very poor choice as I think back on it, but it's got to be great gaming, so that's cool.
It is. Inspectors is very good. You'll have a great time.
It's fun and silly.
Yeah. As soon as we have a wild Haley, we will go forth. I bet I would put money on that she's getting cheese.
Really?
Yeah.
Where's the cheese, Haley?
Where's the cheese, Haley?
Wait, oh, yeah, you're right. I'll be back in 2 more minutes.
Thank you for playing a game with me. A bit of an interesting experimental game. With me. We're still recording at the moment. I kind of wanted to capture some of the system-y feedback stuff, but I do want to just quickly check. Does anyone have any safety, play, culture concerns or anything they'd like to bring up at this point while Tyler's here? Cool. Excellent. If you'd want to add another time, you're more than welcome to, please. But I'm just saying that because Tyler said he's got to dash pretty quickly. So that's cool. I guess what I would like to hear, I'd normally do like wishes and stars and stuff and like a really like formalized sort of debrief thing, but I don't really want to do that at the moment because I think we're still finding, I think I'm definitely finding my feet on this system as an idea and what we want this game to be about. So what I would like to kind of hear from y'all is like, after playing what we've played, what is it about the game that's like interesting you? What stuff do you want to see and do and have your characters do and stuff like that?
I've got a thing. I really like Goggle's vows and how they interact. Like, I've got this, I promise to always do what you say with True. I promise I will say my change my ways with Shizy, and I promise to protect your dignity with Patty, and they're working really well for me. I kind of like that it feels like a really natural way to respond and potentially conflicting with everyone. So that's my thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I've also got a really awesome quote from a song that I'm hoping to pull out at one point, but I'm not going to do that yet.
Is it Holy Dive? Oh.
I also am really digging the vows, like that inter-character play. I want to see more character chit-chat scenes.
Yeah, I like that. I agree with both of y'all. I think these, exploring those vows is going to be neat. I'd also really kind of like to see, there's the implied, we came together and that's why we have magic. And I'd like to see some of what what that means, how we depend on each other, what it draws from each of us. I think that seeing that would be really, really cool.
Yeah, I really want to hit that on Elle's truths thing. I really want to see like how that interacts with like whose truths are sacrificed and that sort of thing. Yeah, that would be really interesting.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I really like, I'm just going to repeat what everyone else said, but I'd really love to dive into the vows. There's a lot of them there's some of them that are quite general, but there are also some of them that are very specific. Like, I promise to scare the night wears away, right? So we need actually a moment for that. And, I promise to repay you for what you've done to me. What was it like done for me? What was it like? There's so much interesting material there. I feel like that could just be the whole game and it would be amazing.
And also your dance. I can't wait to see that dance.
And I feel like the characters have a history, which we'll find out through their future. But I'm really interested in finding out that history through their future. And I also am interested in finding out why they're not allowed to be part of normal society. Because we didn't really, like, obviously we didn't touch on that in this session. And it's not so much that I need, like, the specifics of that, but I would like to explore that tension that exists between them and society and, like, the essence of what makes them outsiders.
Yeah, I really like that. That's really interesting. I might try and.
Yeah, you were
Very
hitting on that a bit with Shizy village.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
And you're all like, nope. Which is great. But I do like it and I am interested in it. Okay. I agree with a comment that Haley said, which is I could see a whole game of just this and I would be happy with it. Like a whole game of just exploring the vows and I'd be happy. And I totally agree. The biggest issue I have is that the mechanics are like super monster of the weeky. Like they're super more focused on fighting coyote cobras and stuff like that rather than they are like about the intimacy scenes.
What if, like, totally random idea, but at the, like, I totally agree with what you're saying. This almost has nothing to do with it. Oh well. At the beginning of each session, like, you collectively chose to highlight a certain number of vows. And what that is like a group commitment to exploring those vows in that session.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think the other thing too is that the vows are very much. I can put you in situations, but the vows are very much about characters. So
Yeah,
you need to be aware of those. So highlighting vows is a really interesting idea. I super agree. We'll set that up for sure. That's so great. Point to the successful game designer in the crew, please. Yeah. Okay. What else do people like? What else would people like to see? Because the thing is, here's the thing. The thing is, I really want to see Scaring the Nightmares Away. I really want to see the Bloodflower. I really want to see Dancing Again at the Old Place. But the only way I can give you space to have intimate scenes is by giving you injuries, which you heal by spending time with each other in intimacy, which is great. But I kind of want a different way. I want to interact with this card mechanic. I want to burn these cards on you, and I want you to draw from them. And I want that to be that shared pool of your power. But I want it to be about, I want it to be almost like Monster Hearts Dust Wardens. Does that make sense?
I've got a whole thing I'm thinking of with Goggles, with her never taking her mask off because of issues with intimacy, and that there'll be a point where she has to do that, and it will be a really major thing for her. That's something that I've got in my head, but
Yeah.
I don't know how to make all that happen with this system.
Maybe we need to have like a conversation at the outset of like what our mission is or what our goal of the game is, not necessarily like pinning on the vows, but say we're going to, you know, search for the blood flower, or like
Yeah, we need a quest.
you know, this, your character Goggles has to be alone or has to be in close proximity of this person to pass this next thing to get to the end of the quest. I don't know.
I do see where you're talking about. If you're wanting to try and push that there is tension in running this deck out, that's a lot of freaking cards to pull in a session, because we're going to reset deck beginning of each session.
Why don't we not?
Yeah, why don't we not do that? That's what I was thinking.
Absolutely.
We're just going to create we just have caused major trouble for ourselves, so maybe that reflects in not resetting the deck. and we've just pulled like heaps of really good cards out of it. So I really like that.
I even looking at, and this, I'm just first really playing, so I don't know, but even looking at the resetting of the deck, it looks like, how would you ever run it out? Once you have a full suit of cards drawn and placed on the table, you're going to reset the deck. So that's definitely going to happen before you.
I can have discarded cards. See those 3 discarded cards on the
side? Right, the discard sets.
So I could have discarded all of the 7s, so you can never make a full suit of cards.
Right. Oh, okay.
Which I would really like to. I'd really like to push that. So I love that idea. I might have to do some rejigging with this one because you might notice that there's only 19 cards left in the deck, and there's less than however many that is minus 52, and it's because I didn't reset the room properly after I played Tumbling, and the game went really well. Thanks for asking, guys. We don't talk about that.
I reckon don't add any more cards.
Yeah, so
we just roll with that.
Yeah, your first deck's pretty shit. I'm sorry about that, but we'll deal with that. We didn't draw great cards during Tumbling, so it's fine. You'll love it. You'll love it. Oh, cool. Haley, I want to talk to you all about it at some point. So I think what I would like to do is we'll come into it next week. We'll have a little bit more focus because now I've got characters. We'll kind of treat this as like a session 0. Maybe we flash forward, 2 years later or something like that, right? And then we're gonna come to something. We'll have an idea of where we're gonna go. I really love this blood flower idea. I really want to get to that. I really love the idea that's forgiveness tied up in that, which makes me really happy about it. So if we come to it with a bit more focus, maybe highlight and focus mechanically by like highlighting some vows per session or something like that. And then maybe if we try that and it doesn't work for us for another session, we might try to like maybe write some moves or take the monster hearts moves and see what happens and play around with that. Do some A/B testing, as someone much smarter than me would say. But definitely, I think there's a lot of really good meat to this. I just want to target us a bit better, I guess, if that makes sense.
I do think this is a game that having something like Fellowship's Perilous Journey could work well on too. At least in concept.
You and your Fellowship. No, absolutely right. Because you want to see like the thing that we did. The thing that we did that really, one of the things that really sung to me was the montage scene of you having individual moments. It's Cordova's campfire scene. It's my campfire hack moves. Like it's that sort of stuff, right? Yeah. Any hell, that was goofy. I love you. I miss you so much. I'm so glad we're playing together again. Does anyone have anything else they would like to say? I don't want to keep Tyler too much longer, but
and I certainly, if y'all want to continue talking, y'all feel free.
Talk about you for sure.
How could you not?
Tyler, I have missed your really infectious level of energy in games.
Yes.
I'm so grateful to have you.
I was so glad. It's been too long since I've gotten to play with y'all.
Last thing we played together was Fire Ships at Midnight, your first published game.
Oh, that's true. Lou and I did get to play together for the con a little bit.
How exciting.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think I'm ready to go too, but I had a really, really fun time and I can't wait to play more. I'm excited about it.
Thank you for having really interesting characters, and thank you for sort of bearing with the experiment a little bit. I felt really lost. It's not because it's so early in the playtest phase. It doesn't have a lot of like GM support of like how to start a game sort of thing.
I think that actually might be a thing that I really like.
You like
games like that? Yeah, I think I really like that. One of my favorite things that I've played is that Tyler's thing where he like, what was that thing that we did together, Tyler, with the codex thing and mashing some other game into it and working
Oh, where we
out
did
how-
mechanical oryx.
Yeah,
Mm.
I love that, and working out just if it actually worked, and
Yep.
it worked really good. But like everyone getting to like play with how it works a little bit is real super fun for me. So.
Mm. Cool. I really dig it. Awesome.
Thanks, Sid.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Ellen,
Thank
for
you.
being who you are. It really means the world to me. Okay, I'm going to stop this broadcast because nobody needs to watch us fucking gush over each other. Nora, it's a joy. I'm really excited to play some more with this, and I really love. I've said this sort of before in other things to you, Nora, and to the group here. I really love the core of this idea. I really love the idea of vows and of people who are obliged to each other. It's beautiful, and I can't wait to play in it more.